everybody. I'm back for another review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. If you're watching this, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for those of you and all your support. And the reason why I really want to thank you for your support tonight, because this has to be one of the dumbest damn episodes I've ever seen of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I say that because there has been quite a bit of stiff competition. This wasn't simply a filler episode. This was a dumbass episode. Fire whoever is working there that got y'all pulling and tugging and looking like that 10th grader's graphic design award winning for the 10th grade graphic design setup. Anyway, look at something on my eyelash. Okay. If I do, just know I know. Don't put it in the comments. All right, so Martell is at his investment property, okay? Now, the way investment's supposed to work, you're supposed to see a return on it. Anyway, is it me or does Question give church deacon quite a bit, especially when he's in his suit? Sometimes he just gives that vibe. Like you would want him as the pallbearer, like the pallbearer who's in charge at the funeral, because you trust that Fletcher is going to make sure everything gets into the hearse. Anyway, so Martell is inviting him over so he can basically check his temperature about that bitch-ass fire talk they had or whatever. In other words, Martell's trying to figure out whose side is Chris on, okay? So Chris asked him if he was measuring stuff so he could stage the property. Because he brought his tape measure and stuff, and I was just like, how is Chris going to do that in that tight-ass suit? But nevertheless, I understand the friendship in that regard. So he basically said, no, I'm not going to stage the property. I'm moving Ariana and the kids in here. First of all, why? Why did you need to invite Chris over to tell him this? I know he wants this to get back to Mel so bad, so she'll be angry. At this point, it's been 5 years since your divorce. Martell, catch on. She don't want you no more. All right. Anyway, Chris was like, oh, okay, well, are y'all getting married? He was like, no, that's my girl and she has my kid. Chris said, are y'all going to live together? And he said, we can't do that until we're married. Well, motherfucker, you control marriage. And let's keep it real. Men control marriage. Let me tell you something. I don't want a fiance or an engagement where a man has not gotten on one knee to ask me. Because if a man don't want it, you don't want it from him. Okay? We've seen it, Chrissy. Anyway. And they still ain't married after all these years. You've been fucking with this bitch for 10 years. This side chick has wasted 10 years of her life with a man that doesn't hardly claim her unless he's looking for some weak-ass storyline, doesn't want her to work, according to TikTok, which I happen to roll past. And he was like, yeah, if you're going to be making $60 to $70 an hour. And I'm just sitting up here like, what? But he's helping her through nursing school, but he doesn't want her to work after she's done. You sound like Marcel, who said this was just going to be a hobby. The difference is that's his wife. And they have 3 children together. This bitch hasn't been working all these years. Baby, you going back to nursing school because he ain't got no money. And even if you do get on this show, I'm going to tell you right now, these bitches are going to treat you like dog shit. Because now that Mel's not around, they not going to go and meet with you for kicks. They looking at you sideways. Oh my gosh. Have you even passed your builder's license test yet, you dumb fuck? Anyway, Chris said kudos to Martell. He was like, this is the same property he asked me to sell for him, and then he got mad and took it back and gave it to somebody else, and it still didn't sell. So if he wants Ariana to live in it, that was funny, Chris. Also, my issue with this is that Martell doesn't understand business because he's too fucking emotional. Yeah, narcissists, set traps, calculated traps for other people. But what happens before it's over, it becomes feed me, Seymour. If you know where that's from, you all right with me. Okay, you get wrapped up in your own setup. Anyway, so Chris is talking about how Lance has a good head on his shoulders. He saw him talking to Martell. I was like, first of all, your son doesn't have a good head on his shoulders. And I just want black men Black women have contributed to this for a significant amount of time, but because Black men led the way, we need to support Black men because they have it the worst. Is that and the other, make them feel good about their bad behavior. And I think we've seen enough by 2025 to know that rhetoric from the late 60s has not been beneficial for the entire community. Okay. All right. So we need to just call a spade a spade. All right. So Chris said, I told Lance the same thing I told you to wrap it up, but y'all don't listen. Martell was like, how many kids you got? He was like, 4. He said, well, we don't. Okay. The difference is him and Nell came into a marriage with 1 kid each. So, which means all those kids are his biological children, 3 of theirs, and he can whittle it down to 2 women he was married to. That is not the same, Martell. It's not. I'm not saying that Fletcher don't have a whole lot of bullshit. I guess Fletcher said if I'm a cheat, I ain't bring no diseases to my wife, and they ain't getting too much of my money. Okay. So, he asked Chris about the other night. Chris looked him in the face and said, y'all both, you and Marcel sound like 2 big bitches. And I said, oh my gosh. Didn't I tell y'all that last week? But thank you for somebody being there and saying, you sound like a bitch. Chris said, basically he was like, Martell was like, my character, this and that. And Chris said, yes, I do. And Martell, you are a good guy if I take Marceau out the picture. No, he's not. He's not. And I ain't caping for Marceau, but we gonna cut this bullshit out. And telling Martell that over and over again, just like his mother did, just like his friends tried to convince him, and pick me ass bitches like Kimmy, who ain't been on the last 2 episodes and good, bitch, because it's not interesting to be a pick me, is it? None of this has made Martell a good guy. So don't think just encouraging somebody to set or telling them they're a good guy when they haven't proven themselves, that's some bullshit. So when Chris asked for examples of lies, Martell was like hemming and hawing. Martell, let me tell y'all how Martell always ends his lie with, it's always these big, vague examples or things we can't put our finger on because he's lying. But he was doing the same thing with Mel, and it was cute, and everybody was jumping on Mel and dogpiling. Like I said, I'm not even one of those people that be, millimeter, this, that, and the other. I ain't mad at her for having people like that. But it was because of the way they dogpiled on her that I was like, oh no, I've seen this. I've experienced this. I'm not going to help nobody with that bullshit. Anyway, Martell is always calling people liars and screams over them when they try to tell him exactly what they did to keep his truth from being told, the same way he did to Mel. But it was fine as long as she was the target of his bullshit, right? Okay. So, Fletcher was wondering what I was wondering. Like, are you sure it's not going to cause tension between you and Maurice? Because that is his brother. And remember, I said, I don't know what kind of brother Maurice is that he's trying to act like his brother and Martell are on the same level. Martell was like, no, he treats me like a brother. We go way back to Alabama A&M football. Young ladies, young college women. Just let me explain this to you, especially specifically those at Alabama A&M. Habits, good or bad, traditions, things like that passed down from men to men at the same alma mater take a long time to die down. Stay away from those Alabama A&M football players. Stay away. Especially in those small towns where it's easy for everybody to go after the popular person because they want some sort of notoriety. Stay away. Stay away. Don't say Salah didn't tell you. All right, so Martell, you said all of these years, Marceau, it might as well be Marceau, has not shown friend qualities. Then why are you still fucking with him? You sound like the punk bitch you are. Next, Ken and Will have a sit down. Ken comes over the house, I guess, because Trisha ain't there. Ken, I like you. I do. I know y'all say stuff about Ken, but I really do like Ken. And Ken, you called the right person over because Will tell you the truth and has done that consistently with these pop-ups on Love and Marriage Huntsville. The problem is, Ken, and I like you, Ken, but the problem is you are like somebody I used to know. When I said to them, as a friend, please stop asking me for advice, knowing damn well you don't want it and you're not going to listen. That friendship is definitely over. Oh, well, I was right. So Ken has a podcast. I didn't know, but okay. And he works out on it with his friend Will and somebody else. So apparently Trish walked through the podcast knowing they were recording stuff. And she was basically storming out because they had an argument before they started recording. And Ken was like, where are you going? No, you ain't leaving without giving no damn kiss. I ain't gonna lie. When I heard the recording, it was a little too aggressive for me. Don't talk to me like that. Don't talk to me like that. Okay? You knew we had a fight before I walked through that damn garage. Anyway, they got into it about how he was tired of defending her, this and the other, because she does have him looking stupid and she does lie. And not to mention the playback where they were showing how she lied over and over again. It's one thing, see, if you lie, but see, your man knows. Because see, then you know how you can position it. Okay, that's what the Fletcher family tried to do, but they forgot their lies about Lance's baby and all this other stuff. I don't know if Lance has a grandkid or not. I just know whoever the mother is, he gave her some money so he could have a storyline. I don't know that I believe Lance is old enough to have a grandkid. I'm not saying things don't happen, but that just seems blogish. That's all I'm gonna say. It's giving very much what's that blog that always had all those lies on it? I mean, worse than other people. Not Bossa. What's the other one? Hip hop something. I don't know. Hip hop stars or Bob Star. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't want to mess somebody else's blog up with that. Anyway, this is another example, though, Ken, of why you don't move in with somebody before you're married. And I know that probably sounds very old school to a lot of people. Let me tell you something. In the words of Beyonce and Destiny Child, it ain't easy being independent. But let me tell you what I won't do. I will not relinquish any independence. I ain't living with no man I ain't married to. I ain't sitting up here acting like I don't spend the night. But that ain't the point. But the point is, I can pay my bills and take care of myself. I'll be goddamn if I go around depending on somebody. We have a blow up, and then I got to go find another place to live because I ain't gonna live in that kind of tension. My childhood was already too rough. I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, in a marriage, there is at least a legal setup and a process to go through. But see, this is messy because y'all are basically glorified roommates who are screwing. I mean, in terms of like going to court, is what I'm saying. So Ken isn't really telling us what the issue is. We need to know from you, Ken, because Trish lied too much, so I'm not sure. And then Ken mentions how the military side of him. I said he was in the military. I said Trish just wanted his veterans health insurance, and now that Trump's taking everything, just stealing it, and Congressman just letting him steal it. Now you gonna leave him? That's messed up. Damn, girl, that's fucked up. All right. Anyway, so she basically whenever they get into a back and forth, she tells him he can leave every time they have an argument. Apparently, Ken likes to remind her that he pays for everything, and if I leave, I'm taking all of this back. I ain't gonna just let you have all the stuff. Now, granted, people say stuff in fights like that, I imagine. But you do have a whole husband coming around a lot. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna let some of Ken's bullshit slide. And I like Ken, and that's why I'm gonna let some of this bullshit slide. Oh well. Will was like, well, have you asked her if she's going through something? He's like, I'm not a therapist. He was like, well, you kind of are, because as her man, you should listen. See, Will doing that shit, that fuck shit I would do. Like after I see my friend is actually finally listening, I don't want to act like, yeah, I hated this motherfucker all along, even though I may have. But like, are you considering all the factors? So at least I'm not on TV dogging this bitch out the way I would in private. So Marcel is taking his daughter to a nail shop. He has a date with his daughter and, gets regular pedicures. This is the first season I've seen Marcel actually spend time with any of his kids one-on-one. This girl's 13. She has a boyfriend. As far as I'm concerned, you need to be in high school. Actually, you need to be 16. That's me. Okay, but I'm not a parent. But I'm just saying, Marcel is better than me. His daughter, I don't know why she's appearing on TV more often. I don't know if they're grasping at straws for content or what. It was cute, but we don't care. I will say, though, however, Marcel talking to his daughter did seem very authentic. It didn't seem rehearsed. And it was clear that Marcel's Um, while he may be sexist, he is clearly a teddy bear when it comes to his daughters. And that's not a bad thing to be. All right, so Trisha's going to meet up with her fake friends. One of these sports fake scenes, her homegirl in Huntsville with the glasses, who likes, you could tell likes being on TV, but don't try to bring her as part of the cast because we're not here for it. And Destiny, who ain't a friend of nobody except for Martell. And any woman that could be friends with a man like Martell knowing the shit that he did. I'm not going to do it. But I see why Mel thought what she thought about her after they got the divorce. She can't be trusted. Anyway, Destiny lets us know she got an independent movie role. I said, okay, webisodes. So her and Ken, we find out Trisha and Ken took a break, but they are living in the same house. Okay, girl. So Destiny says she's not sure that she's going to get the whole story because Trisha's storytelling is ambitious. No, it's not. The bitch is a liar. Cut it the fuck out. Ken said, basically in the midst of the argument, give me all my stuff then if you're going to walk out. And Xavier overheard it. He's on his way to college. We know that. But it's like that summer when you're like between high school and college. And I imagine you just have like a basic job because you know you can't stay too long, but you can't tell the person you're working for that you can't stay too long because you just want to like go on with your life. Anyway, Xavier came down in the midst of their argument, put his keys on the counter because he said it to his mom, like, I don't even want that card you bought me. Now, do I think Ken loves those kids? Absolutely. I do, actually. I do. But I'm like, Xavier, don't tell me you want everything back and think I'm going to beg you for something that you disrespected my mother. Anyway, and I've been like that my whole life. I ain't gonna beg nobody for shit. Now, maybe if I would have humbled myself, then it made my life be different. But my father forced us to work for everything, and I understand it to an extent. But I just became, as a result, very, very, very independent. And now I can take care of myself. So, I mean, that old adage, you can do bad all by yourself, you can. So what the fuck am I gonna let you come in and make my days worse for? Anyway, so both Destiny and the friend both said that Ken needed validation. Or I guess they meant, maybe feeling more secure within a relationship because you got that crazy ass bastard, even though Ken fucked him up that day. What's his name, Marquez? Too many fucking M names on his cast. And your friends see that you are tripping and they know your friends, even if they are fake friends, know that Ken can do better. And he's a nice guy. He really is. And I'm not going to just let people just talk shit about Ken because I don't think that's fair to Ken. I don't. I like Ken. Y'all leave him alone. Anyway, Martell and Marcelo meet up at a place called Leaf Cigar Bar. Not that I care. I guess they couldn't be a black because they have too many violations or something. Or maybe because Marcelo strikes me as the kind of black business owner that wants to save electricity money. Okay, so Martell is not only boring, but he literally has nothing TV worthy without Mel. Like, he can't even find words. It's just a bunch of bullshit. We don't care about the side chick. That shit is old, okay? Y'all been together 10 damn years, okay, while Mel was working and providing the lifestyle for both of y'all. It means nothing. It means nothing. She's a dumb, retarded bitch, and so is Martell. Next, Martell, according to Marcel, has been lying on him for 7 years. Marcel said, well, I've been a good friend to you. No, Marcel said Martell was a good friend to him and did help him out when he was really in trouble. That happens. I guess that's the movie theater business. And he said, honestly, he did show love. But people with narcissistic personality traits, because I'm an armchair, right? I can't diagnose nobody. But people with narcissistic personality traits always do things with an intention of appearing very good in public, but they always plan to weaponize whatever they've done for you in your face. Like bringing up, oh, you were a manager at a movie theater was meant to degrade Marcel and make him feel bad and certainly look bad amongst people in a way of trying to humiliate him. Like, oh, that's all you were doing. In the same way, Mel, you were just a school teacher and I got you out. But without Mel, you ain't got shit. Without Marcel, you ain't even got to see. Hell, at least we could look at him and his daughter and at least say, you know, hey, Marcel may be sexist, but it seems like he's very in tune with his kids and it didn't look fake. I have also learned in my life, though, that just because somebody helps you, and God helped me to see this, just because somebody helps you does not mean you owe them for the rest of your life. Because I was one of those people that when people do stuff for me, I wanted to make sure once they had done, I mean, and I don't mean like money necessarily. I just mean like any kind of, because I don't really take money from people. But people who had my back, I wanted to make sure that I proved to them that I was so grateful for that. And those same people can get jealous and stab you in the back. So while you can be grateful, you don't owe those people for the rest of your life. And that's what you also have to understand. That's just to anybody listening. You can be grateful, but people who require that constant admiration, if it hadn't been for me kind of shit, never had good intentions. And Martell told Marceau that he needs to ask God to deliver him from being a compulsive liar. I said, talk about projection. Everything about you is a lie. Your hairline is a lie. Anyway, Martell is part of the LGBTQ plus community. I don't care what anybody says, but I understand why the LGBTQ plus community doesn't want anything to do with him. So I'm not going to force him on there. But if y'all sit up here and tell me y'all don't think Martell is gay and the worst kind because he tries to be down low, that's why he likes fighting with men and degrading women. He gets attention from it. And it's something about the fight. Like even people who are toxic who like to fight before they have like intercourse, like that's what I mean. Like he likes to do that. And that shit is weird to me. And he is somebody who I feel like has suppressed that. One of those football players, his mother put him in football instead of dealing with the core of his aggression. And it's because he can't make his peace with who he really is. And that's why he runs through women, trying to prove that he's not gay. Okay. So Marceau said we can't have a resolution because you shift on people and you've done it over and over again, over and over the years. He said every time you say, look, we're going to move on, you backtrack, and then something else happens. Martell's response was, so fucking what? Let's move on. I said, oh my gosh, you're showing why he's right, even if it's just for a dumbass moment. That's what he was saying to Mel, the woman he abused that y'all use for fodder on reality TV. I'm sorry, I see this on my eyelash. Please don't put it in. I don't know where that came from. Taking accountability, Martell, and I'll tell anybody this, does not mean saying I take accountability and trying to shut people down. No. Taking accountability means, yes, I was wrong. And I'm sorry that what I did hurt you. And then doing everything in your power to make it up and fix the behavior as you move forward so that it doesn't happen again. That's accountability. Okay? Because you giving real United States behavior. Oh, yeah, we acknowledge that slavery happened, but don't y'all motherfuckers dare ask for reparations. We done given y'all enough. We have to see y'all free. Like that kind of wild shit. Because narcissistic abuse, I feel like by and large, has happened to Black people as a race from white people and all of their allies who come over to this country and try to prove how white adjacent they can be by degrading Black people. Marcel says the resolution is for Martell to stop talking shit about him. That's the resolution, but we know he's not going to do it, and it ain't going to make for a good season. When is this season over? That's all I have to say. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. I hope y'all enjoy what's left of it, and I will talk to y'all soon enough.